Hello and welcome to the True North Show. I'm your host, Megan North. Today, I am so happy to welcome Mitch Toner to the show. Mitch is a business community leader and LinkedIn certified consultant based in Newcastle, New South Wales. So for those in a global setting, Newcastle is about 2 hours up the road from Sydney. Now, Mitch is on a mission to change the way people think about networking. Because let's be honest, for most people, the word networking conjures up images of awkward small talk, business cards being thrust across tables, and rooms full of people secretly wondering how quickly they can leave. Mitch spent the last couple of years dismantling exactly that. After founding his own IT company, Mitch discovered firsthand just how powerful genuine business relationships can be to growth. That experience sparked something in him, and instead of keeping that insight to himself, decided to build a community around it. So today, Mitch hosts regular free networking events across Newcastle, bringing business owners together in welcoming, relaxed environments where real relationships can actually develop naturally. No pressure, no pretense, just people connecting with people. But his work doesn't stop when the event ends. Mitch also helps business owners build their LinkedIn presence, expand their professional networks, and create the kind of lasting relationships that actually move the needle in their business. At the heart of everything Mitch does, it's simple but powerful. That meaningful connection should never be behind a swapped business card, and that the right relationship at the right moment can change everything. He's one of Newcastle's most well-known and well-loved community builders, and I'm absolutely filled with love and gratitude because he's also my friend. So Mitch, welcome to the True North Show.
Oh, Megan, thank you so much. Thank you for introducing me to your audience, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
You're so welcome. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be fantastic.
I'm so keen.
Hello and welcome to the True North Show. I'm your host, Megan North. I am a purpose finder, mental health professional, and guide for those ready to return to who they truly are. Here, we explore what it means to live a life led by purpose, alignment, and deeper inner truth. Through real conversations, powerful reflections, and soul-led strategies, we'll uncover the stories, tools, and insights that help you navigate life's crossroads and find your own true north. So whether you're in the middle of a transformation, seeking clarity, or just curious about what's next, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Your path starts now. So Mitch has built something truly special in Newcastle, a community where business owners can show up, be themselves, and build the kind of relationships that actually change the trajectory of their business. So Mitch, I've known you for, we've just realised, just over 2 years now. And when we met, you were a founder of your own IT company. So can we go back to the beginning of your career and just learn more about your journey? And what was the defining moment that's actually led you to now pursue this new passion and purpose?
Yeah, absolutely, Megan. What a great question to start with, right? And I'll say too, it was actually in June 2024 when we first met.
Wow.
We were at one of these networking events where you stand up and you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And before I had the chance to actually say g'day, like in the little pre-mingle, I saw you stand up and speak and I thought, she is so awesome, I need to go and say g'day. And I don't know if you remember, but the thing that you were asking for was actually for help on a white paper that you were producing about mental health wellbeing in the IT workplace.
Yep.
And I just thought, I've got to chat with that person.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've even got to know you. Like, I just felt so connected with you. And it was through a lot of your inspiration too that led me down this path. So to be able to share that here today is actually really meaningful and something I'm really proud to be able to share. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. But it's so funny because I'd originally thought we'd known each other for at least 3 years. And then you just said then, oh, we met, and you were having a go at me because I didn't buy you flowers. but it feels like it's been so much longer.
It does.
Yeah.
So You asked me to take it back to the start, so let's go down a rabbit hole, hey?
All right.
Let's do it. Where should I start? Because, I was one of those kids in school who was not engaged. I didn't want anything to do with what the teachers wanted to teach me. I felt that a lot of the content and subjects, the curriculum was largely irrelevant. And I always struggled to find my place in school. So what that meant was a lot of the times I would just stay home. I actually remembered I got suspended for absenteeism.
Really?
Yeah. So they
Wow.
were like, you haven't been showing up, so we
Yeah.
can suspend you. You can stay home for longer.
Right.
I was like, perfect. But it was interesting because, like, I wasn't a distracting kid. I wasn't a troublemaker or anything like that. And I always had a passion for learning. And when I was at home, I'd be teaching myself stuff that I thought was more important than they'd be teaching me at school.
Right.
So this is where I got into IT.
Mm.
You don't need a lot of resources to teach yourself IT. Everyone's got a computer laying in their cupboard that they could either donate or, I took a couple of computers home from school. My friends had a couple of computers and I would just be playing in my room, tinkering around, installing random operating systems, understanding like how computers are put together, like using my hands for the physical stuff, but then also downloading files off the internet, putting them on a USB, plugging them in, doing the different modifications and stuff. And it was really through being able to teach myself that I found my initial passion for IT. And I quickly moved out of like the physical hardware side of things and the software side of things. And especially through playing video games, like, I was absolutely just totally consumed with low latency IP networking. So, just like we're on a call now, on a video call, we're using real-time traffic.
Yep.
Low latency, it's got to be high quality. If there were any issues with the network connection, you'd see, jitter, robotic voices, the screen would get pixelated, these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I was just so fascinated by that I had to figure it out down to like minute details of how it all worked.
Yeah.
And so I became the guy in my network who would help people with their internet. Friends, family, if they had Wi-Fi issues, I'd be there to fix it. Friends, if we were playing a game together and it would start lagging, like they'd be on the phone to me, "Bro, I'm lagging, you need to help me." And I was in this position, and we're talking, I was probably, 16, 17 years old at this time.
Yeah.
I was in this position where I could not care less about school, but I was pretty smart. And I was really good at this IT networking stuff. So I was very thankful to have a careers advisor at the time who led me down the pathway of going to TAFE, which is like trade school for the international audience.
Yeah.
And I got my diploma in telecommunications. So it was funny, like it was some of the first exams I ever did.
Yeah.
For those in the loop, like it was a Cisco CCNA. And I passed that exam with 96% result.
Wow.
So I went from never submitting assignments or doing homework, none of that, to just absolutely dedicating myself, like getting up early before school, studying, getting to the class, already knowing the content and then just applying it in practice.
Yeah.
And I was just so committed to learning.
Yeah.
That really set me up as a young fella to go walk into my first job, which was at TPG Telecom.
Yep.
Quite a large tier 1 carrier here in Australia. And I was pretty well qualified, especially as a young 18-year-old guy. So that was my initial job. And like I said, like I had this weird like tinkering passion for the IT side of things. And I did that job there for about 12 months. I was on a shift roster. It was my responsibility to monitor the entire network, fiber cables from Sydney to Japan, radio networks from one of the main distribution points here in New South Wales, up and down the coast, carrying both television traffic and also government radio network traffic.
Wow.
And it was a highly accountable job, but it wasn't very stimulating because these shifts were like 12 hours and I might only have to do like 1 or 2 escalations my entire shift. But that whole time I had to be monitoring stuff. So wasn't very stimulating. I didn't have like a connection to business, and I didn't feel like I was creating any new outcomes. And so I eventually quit. I went and worked in a small business that was operating at a high level. So we were effectively a VoIP provider. We had our own carrier network, and I grew myself into a role there where I become a data center administrator for a network that ran about 400 active calls at any time throughout the day.
Wow.
So I was like a gun tech. I was going to different nursing homes, different hospitals, businesses of all sizes, and I would do pre-sales, I would do project implementation, I would do help desk support and management. Then I'd also be there on call if there were any issues, if it was quality issues in the data center. Like I explained, this call that we're on here, it's just one-to-one.
Yeah.
But the data center carries like 400 calls at once. So if there was a problem, you needed to have like a rapid response.
Yeah.
And you needed to know what you were doing to be able to fix it very quickly. And that was a really cool job, actually. And I got a lot of deep satisfaction from that type of work.
Yeah. Yeah. I could imagine too that when you were going out to sites, like then you were connecting with people too, right? Instead of just being on a shift for 12 hours and yeah.
And one of the best lessons I learned from that, when you do arrive at a site, especially when everything is offline and people are frustrated, the most important thing I could do when I walked in was to acknowledge the person at the front with their name. And so I always made a conscious effort wherever I was going to remember people's names, because they're confident that I can fix the problem, but they don't want people to escalate their frustrations or anything like that. They want someone that can make them feel calm.
Yeah.
And to let them know that I care, the first thing I can do is acknowledge them with their name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's beautiful. That's like basic humanness too, though, right?
True. But a lot of IT guys get it wrong.
Yeah.
And so, I guess that was what my career looked like for a good 7-year period.
Yeah.
And I did really enjoy it. But I guess the point that I got to, and to answer your question, like, what was the defining moment, was that I just lost my spark. Like, I was still completing these really awesome projects, but at the end of the day, I felt crap. Like, I was living by myself. I had this really low sense of self-worth. I got to learn that I was a dismissive avoidant.
Right.
And one of the character traits I realized about myself is that I'm a superstar at work, and that I would put all of my energy into work because it meant that I could dismiss and avoid everything else that was going on in my life.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So, I got to this point in life where I must have been, I want to say 23.
Yeah.
I'm 28 years old now. I'm still a young fella.
Yeah.
And I would have been about 23, depressed, anxious, sleeping on the floor, had no social life. My weekends were bleak. And I was just constantly waiting to get back to work, where I felt like I could have some sense of purpose. And when that sense of purpose dried up and I didn't feel like I had that spark anymore, I felt really flat. And I thought, what else is there in life? Like, I feel like I've achieved so much in my career, and that's what I've put all my energy into. But I wasn't getting that satisfaction anymore. And in fact, just that feeling, that almost secondary depression on top of it, just made me feel even worse.
Yeah. So, like a double layer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because sometimes if you feel unfulfilled at work, but then you come home and home is filled with joy and happiness, then you can kind of deal with that and balance it. But if then you're coming home and it's not there either.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it just sort of compounded things and made me feel horrible.
Yeah.
And I've always, for as much tech as I've been into, I've always been into leadership and self-development as well.
Yeah.
I've always been a reader since I was that kid, tinkering with the computers, always books on my shelf, learning stuff and trying to improve myself,
Yeah.
Whether it was physical, audio books, staying away in hotels, like I'd always have a book with me.
Yeah.
Flipping through a new book every month or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt like I knew a lot, but I wasn't able to implement any of that. my behaviors weren't reflective of my thoughts.
Yeah, okay.
And even that just created so much tension within
Yeah.
myself. So
Yeah.
the point I got myself to was that I just went, I feel so hopeless that I'm going to go and see a therapist. And I remember that decision. It actually felt a little bit shameful at the time to share that with my close family and my friends, to say, I need help, to put my hand up and actually acknowledge that I'm in a place. And it was funny, like, I think most people, when they go to a therapist, it's sort of considerate. They go see their GP, they get put on a mental health care plan, and then they book the appointment and they go and see it as part of a bigger process. But I just called him and I said, hey, I need to see a psych. Like, can I come in?
Yeah.
I tried to make it as simple as possible for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you wanted to make that change then and there. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm assuming then that when you shared it with your family, even though you felt, that small amount of shame, sort of expressing that, were your family not surprised, or, were they happy to hear this from you?
They were supportive, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that they could tell that it was a turning point in my life as well.
Yeah.
Because I got a pretty hard head.
Yeah.
And in fact, the first therapy session I went to, my frame of mind was that you can't teach me anything that I don't already know.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff I've already taught myself.
Yeah.
And if anything, I was there to prove to myself that I can't be helped. I was there to confirm my own bias.
Right. Interesting. Wow. That's deep insight.
This is what I'm talking about.
Wow.
And so it was a really interesting experience, because I walked out of that first appointment thinking, this guy's just told me to meditate. He's told me to journal. He's told me to breathe. He's told me to take the pressure off myself and do all these things that I've already been aware of in theory. And I walked out of there even more frustrated than I entered.
Mm.
And it took a lot for me to go back.
Yeah.
But I thought, hey, look, I'm not the only person who's ever dealt with this. I'm not some special little snowflake that's the first guy to ever be depressed or anxious.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what else he can tell me.
Yeah.
Because if he's told me all of that in the first session, surely he's not going to tell me it again. I wonder if there's something different that he could tell me, or some different thought that he might be able to create in my mind.
Yeah.
Which will take me just that one step further towards where I want to be.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually really interesting, because I walked in there as frustrated as I was, and I said, dude, the first session you told me to do all these things I already knew. Like, I now want you to produce me like a 72-point plan with all my steps towards how to be happy. And it was interesting. Like, we sat down and he explained to me and said, it doesn't really work like that. And the thing that helped me process my own thoughts in a clearer way was that he said, it's not a problem unless you think it's a problem. And so the process that he walked me through was that I would just come in, I would share my problems with him, and then he made an analogy like the lake. We live near beautiful Lake Macquarie here in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And he said, imagine it's the lake, right? So that as large as the lake is, you'll never be able to see the whole thing in one day. But if you come along with me, I'll take you to a different point around the lake.
Mm.
And each appointment will be like, we're checking out a different part of the lake. And over the course of however long, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, we'll eventually fill in the entire thing by spotting around the lake.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I kept showing up week after week. That turned into fortnightly sessions. And after about 3 years, I felt comfortable enough where I said, let me take the wheel. I've got it from here.
Yeah. 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 And I love that that approach, because we can often, when we start on a journey of healing and working on ourselves, it can feel really overwhelming because everything is there, and we can feel really just, oh my gosh, I think this is why a lot of people don't actually take this first step in getting help as well, because it is overwhelming. But the thing is, the more work you do on yourself, the quicker things heal, the quicker things you shift through. And then when things come up, they're easier to work on because it's like, okay, well, I've dealt with the big lake and now there's just like these tiny little pond things that come along that I'm like, oh, okay, I can step over that or I can work through that quickly.
They're just puddles, and
Yeah.
we've got rain boots now, we've got umbrellas now,
Yeah.
we've got raincoats, we've got all these different ways of adapting to our environment.
Yeah.
And being able to use the tools on ourselves is a little bit of self-therapy, a little bit of positive self-talk to be able to help us through that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so through that journey of seeing the therapist, is that when you then decided to start your IT company?
Well, this is interesting because one of the first things the therapist suggested to me was to go and get some different experiences. It was all about exposure therapy.
Yep.
On the weekends, like, dude, go out and do some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like life was slipping me by because I couldn't bring myself to line up for a coffee. I couldn't bring myself to sit by the water. I couldn't bring myself to go down to the shops and just do the basic things that I felt like everybody else was able to do.
Yeah.
And so piece by piece, started to just expose myself to different experiences in life, or get myself out there. And eventually he suggested to me, hey man, why don't you go and take some interviews? He didn't say go and get a different job.
Yeah.
He said, why don't you talk to some different people?
Yeah.
You know, why don't you try presenting yourself and your resume to another organization, which you may or may not feel like you'll want to take the job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, it was another local provider in a very similar industry to what I was in.
Yeah.
And, you know, these phone systems, internet connections, something that I was very confident in doing from a technical perspective.
Yeah.
In a different environment. And I thought, this could be good for me.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was constantly on call in my current role. I was having trouble sleeping at night because, you know, if there was an IT issue, that I was the first guy to respond. And I felt that, you know, lifting and shifting my skills into a different organization would help me cope with those feelings a lot better.
Yeah.
Have a different level of support around me and my personal life.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I went in and I joined this new organization.
Yeah.
And it was there that actually led me to start my own company, because I was at this place for about 12 months. And there were good times, there were bad times. I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without these experiences.
Yeah.
But through working at this place, it was really interesting because I couldn't just do project delivery or help desk support. They actually were asking me to do more sales and more business development stuff.
Mm.
And so at the same time, I was seeing my therapist, you know, trying to get some of this exposure therapy, different experiences. And I was also being challenged at work to go out there and get some new business. So the two sort of met in the middle in a funny way.
Yeah.
And actually that's where I started to go to different networking events and start to really put myself out there in a way to try and do more business with new people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I did that for about 12 months as an employee of this other organization.
Yeah.
And I got frustrated there too.
Yeah.
I struggle to work in teams unless I feel like really well supported.
Yeah.
And I'm quite independent as well. So in a way, I felt like working at this place was slowing me down. Felt like I could do a better job by myself. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what led me to quit initially.
Yeah.
And I didn't make a direct transition out of working at that place into starting my own IT company, because by that point I had stopped going to therapy. I felt quite good in my own body and my own mind.
Yeah.
But I knew I was carrying a lot of burnout.
Mm.
And there was so much hangover from the last sort of 7 to 8 years of deep, committed tech work.
Yeah.
That I didn't want to get straight back into business, especially not for myself, because I was aware of how important the relationships are in business, that I didn't want to be stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you can relate to what it's like working with stressed out providers.
Yep.
They just put more stress on you, and that's constructive, and it's not a long-term positive winning strategy. So
no.
I recognised that in myself. I went and did a part-time job. I was actually delivering parcels for Australia Post.
Yeah.
Working in the van, like waking up early at like 5 a.m, getting to the warehouse.
Yeah.
Sorting out like 250 parcels, loading them into the van, driving around, listening to music, and just taking signatures and doing parcel delivery. So
yeah,
that was just like a Christmas relief job that I did for 2 months, maybe 3 months.
yeah,
Not that I needed the money, but just thought, hey, like this will be a cool, different experience again.
yeah,
Trying new things. I've never had like a laborious, type job like that.
yeah, yeah,
Why not? Like, let's just give that a crack. So
yeah,
I actually had a lot of fun.
yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
yeah,
And after I was finished delivering parcels for the day, at say like 2:30, 3 o'clock, depending how quick I could get it done, I'd come home and I started to set up my IT company after hours.
right, yeah,
My contracts in order, my distribution network, my agreements, all the stuff that I needed to be able to deliver these services was what I was preparing for, ready to go, so that when I announced my business, I was ready.
it was ready, yeah.
Yeah. And when a client or potential client was ready to start working with me, that I wouldn't have to, catch up and get stuff ready. Like I built the supply and then I started to go out there and
Yeah.
clients. So
Yeah, yeah, which is interesting. I think it's a a lot of people when we're starting businesses, they're all like, "Don't worry, you don't need everything perfect or you don't need everything in place. Just start." But I think for you, that was really important to have that ready, so that when then you started to get the clients in, that you weren't feeling overwhelmed or stressed about then the practical admin pieces.
yeah, there's a lot of parts to it. Like I love the 6 Ps, prior preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah,
I've always lived by that mantra.
yeah,
But also too, with the nature of the work I was doing, being, critical business infrastructure, your internet or your phone system, like that's something I take so seriously.
yeah,
And I wouldn't want to be half prepared for one of my
yeah,
clients.
yeah. Plus, it's your reputation as well. Then as well, yeah,
My reputation.
yeah.
And for as much as I love the Richard Branson method of testing the demand and then building the supply,
Yeah,
I knew I had to be ready, especially in this industry. So
yeah, yeah. And then, so because when I met you, I think you just finished doing the parcels, and that you were running the IT company, and then it sort of quickly, like it actually, the networking piece really moved quickly into your atmosphere, didn't it? Like it feels like it was only 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden that was your focus, which was interesting. Yeah, yeah. What is it about the networking? Like, what drew you to that?
And this is funny, right? Because for as much as I just talked about the importance of being prepared and having the supply before the demand, while I was running the IT company, I started to test the demand for the networking stuff. So I was kind of wearing these two different hats at the same time.
Yeah,
And with the networking stuff, it was such a deep, attachment to me and my person, because I'd gained so much through networking. Like I shared with my journey through therapy, through exposure, and there were some really key moments in my journey through networking that helped me think differently.
yeah,
I can share one experience, which was the first time I ever walked into a networking room. I was this technician. They sent me along to this business breakfast. Didn't want to be there. It was way too early, but there was a free breakfast. And I remember a name tag, and they said, yep, so just, head over into that door there and you'll find the room. Like, whoa, that's daunting. And so 1 foot at a time, I walked towards this door and I've opened it up. And behind the door, there was a room with like a horseshoe format of seats and some people standing around the middle of it. And no one was looking at the door. No one saw me to start with. And I just froze. And I went, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to turn around and walk out, quit my job and just figure something else out.
Yeah.
But it was within that 3 seconds of me standing there frozen that there was a really nice guy who turned around and actually acknowledged me. And he did it in such a nice way where he just gesture with his hands, like, come over here and come join us. And then his body language opened up. They were standing in sort of like a circle, and he made room for me to stand.
Mm.
And he didn't put me on the spot in any way. He actually just included me in the conversation and asked me a couple of simple questions like, what's your name? What brings you here today? Just these really comfortable questions for me to answer. And that was such a powerful experience for me that I went, I want to be able to get myself to the point where I can do that for somebody else.
Wow.
And that was only my first time ever networking.
Mm.
But it was that point where I went, there's something here for me, because it was such a powerful experience that I kept going back every week.
Yeah.
I tried different networking events, different structures, different organizations. And that was the inspiration for me to take some more leadership roles to help others start to mentor new people in there as well.
Yeah.
And really form like a community around that sense of purpose to not only support each other in business, but help each other overcome some of these challenges that we have in our own personal lives that don't just apply in business networking, but also apply even that situation I explained about, being fearful of lining up for a coffee.
Yeah.
Like some of these social anxieties that we all carry really be lifted through business networking because it provides a common ground and a context for us to start talking to each other. So, it was really fascinating. When I decided to start my own business, I was doing lots of business networking at the same time.
Yeah.
Lots of relationships, and that's how I was able to grow my IT company.
Yeah.
But at a certain point too, I thought, I'm going to start hosting my own events and, bring together a lot of these people who believe in a lot of the same things that I do and want to create this welcoming and inclusive environment so that newcomers and people who might be anxious to come along for the first time can come and feel well supported in an awesome group of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And is that gentleman that did that, like, are you still in connection with him?
Yep. Shout out Phil Moore.
Right.
Phil Moore, he's a graphics designer here in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Absolute legend.
Right. Wow.
And I love to share that story too, and I let him know every time I do. So
absolutely.
I'm sure to share this clip with him as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it interesting that just that simple, all as humans, all we ever want is just to be acknowledged and heard and just to be connected with, right? And just that simplicity of him doing it the way that he did, it just had such a major impact on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel like it was a significant thing that he did either. He was like, bro, I was just there for breakfast and I did what I
did. Yeah, I love that. That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing it, because it's a perfect example of that, that is a pivotal moment for you then moving into why networking is so important for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And from a mental health and well-being point of view, so I loved before when you said that, the psychologist was talking about meditation and this and this and this. And so what do you have, what quirk? I know that you love to be out near the water, you love to walk and those sort of things, and the gym is really important to you. Are they sort of the main things that really help you with your mental health?
Yeah. And of course, tennis.
Oh, tennis. Yes, tennis as well.
Tennis and my beautiful little puppy dog.
Yeah.
I say puppy dog, he's 4 and he's a puppy, so more of a bullfed than a puppy.
Yeah.
But I think it's through the physical exertion that calms the mind.
Yeah.
Going out there and doing some hard stuff, getting challenged physically and just doing that consistently.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to me, actually, especially through tennis, how many successful business people are also really good tennis players.
Right, because they're like, you can really bash the ball and it's can be physically challenging.
There's a lot of that, but it's also the mental resilience that you have to have too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting how many different overlaps there are, because I think two of the most potent characteristics, traits that you can have in combination are resilience and endurance.
Yeah.
Like resilience, number one, it's like if you face a challenge, how quickly can you overcome that and keep taking action?
Yeah.
And then number 2 is, how long of a duration can you do that for?
Yeah.
And tennis is a game which is quite unique. It's really only chess which is similar in this way.
Yeah.
There's no time limit. You
Yeah.
play until the last point is won.
Yes.
And so you're going to get tested both with your resilience. If you lose a point that you didn't expect, or if you try and play a shot and it doesn't work the way you expect and you end up with this cognitive dissonance, you can very quickly get frustrated.
Yeah.
But hey, the next point starts and you need to be able to mentally recover for that.
Yeah.
You need to be able to do that over the course of 3 sets or even 5 sets, like a lot of the pros play in these Grand Slams. And that's the same thing with business. And this is why I see so many successful people who play tennis are also successful in business, is that because they've got that fortitude, that perseverance to be able to do hard things and to feel calm and confident in the face of adversity. So
interesting.
For me, a large part of, my regulating and my coping strategy is by doing these hard things that challenge me in a different context, so that by the time I need to apply them in a business context, I feel calm, I feel confident, and there's nothing slowing me down. I'm just ready to take action because I'm so comfortable with myself. I've got this really high level of self-acceptance where if there's a challenge in business, it's like, okay, cool, I see this as an interesting problem to overcome, but it doesn't actually fall back onto me personally for who I am as a being.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And, I think it's I'm going to go back to also, again, just saying about, the psych saying about the meditation and this and this and this, because I think it's really important. And I talk about this all the time with lots of guests in the sense of finding what works for you. I think that's really important. Because I think people get really overwhelmed of, well, the internet's telling me I should be meditating an hour a day and I should. And it's like, yeah, but if you're not interested in any of that, or if it really doesn't light your fire, then find what does. And then, and then work on that. I think that's really, so I love that the traditional things were just not what you needed at that time, and you found the things that worked. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting in that way. And I guess you need to find the right mental framing that works for you too. One thing for me is that I've always had this entrepreneur brain. I was the kid, I had a lemonade stand. I built this, it was like a vending machine costume that you could wear and dispense oranges out of. So like a kid would give me $1 and I'd dispense an orange. And I had like a radio station and, I was doing all of these things with an entrepreneurial mind.
Yeah.
That the thing about journaling and the thing about meditating is that I always feel that if there's nobody on the other end to consume it, then effectively it's got no value.
Yeah.
And if I'm writing something down for myself on a notepad, unless I can actually share that with somebody, even if it's one person, then it's got no value.
Yeah.
And for me, that just seems like a pointless exercise.
Yep.
That's not to say that I don't journal. I do it about once a month and I do it intentionally.
Yep.
But, like the therapist said, go home and journal. It's like, bro, what am I going to write down that's going to have any value? It's going to be consumed by somebody on the other end.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And it's that real self-awareness that you've got, that you realize that that's actually not going to work. So what else have you got? What else can you suggest to me that I haven't tried before?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's experimenting. You need to experiment in what works and what doesn't. And, mine changes all the time. Some days I might need something differently to the next day. And it just depends on where I'm at and what I'm doing or working through, that it might be doing nothing, or it could be, doing some cards, or it could be going for a walk. There's 100 different things that I do, but it changes. It's not one set thing for me all the time, but that's what works for me. Yeah. So, yeah.
We're all different.
That's exactly.
About it.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're in a world of we're so digitally connected, more than ever before. So why do you think that so many business owners still feel isolated and struggle to find their people? What is it about that where's that disconnect?
Yeah, that's a great question, Megan. I think if I could just relate to my own example, it would be that I never put my foot forward. I don't know why I struggled to get that out, but I never actually tried to connect with anybody in the first place. And it's almost like I was sitting there waiting for someone to connect with me. And once I recognized that wouldn't happen, I actually went out and I took the initiative, and you'll be surprised. People actually want to connect with you. So
Yeah.
that has been really the thing that's made me successful in networking, but also made me a much more connected and social person just by reaching out to people.
Yeah.
And, if someone invites me to do something that I don't want to do, I'll let them know.
Yeah.
I'm very clear with my boundaries, direct with my communication.
Yeah.
But actually, if there's something that I do want to do and you've asked me to do it, yeah, let's go do it. I try and say yes to as many things as possible now.
Yeah.
And if I've got a cool idea, I'm reaching out to other people to see if we can do it too. So
yeah,
I think a lot of business owners do feel disconnected and isolated, even though there's so much communications happening around us, because we don't actually take the time to go out and do the things we want to do. They probably already feel drained because they've gone to an event that they didn't feel aligned to.
Yeah.
They're probably working with clients that they don't really like.
Yeah.
They haven't actually set these boundaries or had clear enough communication to be able to do the thing that actually fills them up.
Yeah.
And it's been something I've been really conscious of, because where I came from, my social battery was at about 2%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me to spend that 2%, I had to use it to go down the shops or to go and do the functions that I had to do in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, of course, meant that all the social interactions and the fun stuff I had no capacity for. So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what's most important, is to be able to do the things you want to do and prioritize that for yourself.
Yeah, I think that boundaries piece is so important as well. Saying no to the things that you really don't want to do and they don't feel right. And if someone's got an issue with it, well, they can work it out themselves. Right. It's their problem, not yours.
Yeah, it is their problem, but it's funny. I've actually found that if I can be direct with my communications in that way, that there's actually a lot of mutual respect.
Yeah.
And I know for certain that, let's say you messaged me and said, "Oh, I know we were planning to catch up, but I'm going to have to stay home. I've got some other priorities." I love that for you.
Yeah.
Go and do that. I think that's what you should be doing, because at the end of the day, if you don't want to be hanging out with me or doing whatever the social thing was, I would rather you prioritize yourself and your own mental health. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of people are fearful to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, social anxiety and everything else that goes into it.
Yeah.
But to just be yourself, to achieve this self-acceptance, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I think that is the main solution to a lot of these problems.
Yeah, definitely. And so you're a LinkedIn certified consultant, and then you also run face-to-face networking events. And so, most people would think that they're quite different and they're really two worlds apart, particularly we've just spoken about that. So how do they complement each other? And then which one do you think does the heavier lifting when it comes to building real relationships?
Yeah, and actually the reason I become a LinkedIn certified consultant was that I saw a lot of people lived in this kind of false dichotomy, you could call it, where you'd be familiar with this. Lots of people, they show up online, but you never see them in person.
Yeah.
You see lots of people show up in person, but they never show up online.
Yeah.
And so I was thankful to grow my IT business successfully through relationship-based marketing, social selling, through having a strong presence online and in person, combining those two.
Yeah.
I wanted to help other people do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so LinkedIn is just a tool as an extension of your networking.
Yeah.
As business owners, we've all got our own business development systems. I'm not talking about tech, workflows, or automations.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how to get your clients. Is it word of mouth? Is it referrals? Is it ads? Is it social media content? Is it outreach, cold calling, door knocking, whatever your business development system is?
Yeah.
I think LinkedIn can play a role in everybody's system.
Yeah.
To be able to combine online with the in-person stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also too, just like LinkedIn saying their worksheet in their course content, they say that even if you're going to run a paid ad, it needs to be supported with organic content.
Yeah.
If you just sign in for the first time and start running ads, they're not going to promote it because they also want to see some of that social interaction.
Yeah.
In the same way, I see a lot of people who are really active on LinkedIn, but because they don't have any of this social proof created by attending in-person events or being out there as part of a in-person community, they also struggle to build relationships online. So to answer your question, where is the real stuff done? It's in person.
Yeah.
But then you can use LinkedIn and other social media platforms to be able to extend that presence
Yeah.
that you already have.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a blend. It's a, as you said, like LinkedIn's a tool, but it's also having that blend. Like it's not all or nothing. It's some of this and some of this, and because it's not. I mean, pre-COVID days, we did everything in person, right? Whereas now we've got an option to have a blend of it. So utilize it that way. Do in person, some online, because not everybody can do in person and not everyone can do online. So, you're sort of catering for everyone anyway. Yeah. So because we're a global audience, not everyone can come to one of your amazing events. Actually, I've not been to one of your networking events either. I need to sort that out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So for someone listening that really resonates to what you're sharing, what advice would you give them to finding a suitable networking event in their city?
Yeah, absolutely. If they're in Australia, we've got amazing business chambers. I'm sure that same similar structure probably exists around the world wherever people are listening.
Yeah.
If there's a council, government organisation nearby you, there's most likely going to be a networking event attached to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can also go on to meetup.com. Shout out, I'm a super organizer on Meetup. Put in your postcode, your zip code, whatever.
Yeah.
See what's happening around you. So those are the main two pieces of advice.
Yeah.
Ask your friends, where are they going? Where are they meeting new people? Where is business done in your community? Could even be down at the coffee shop. I'm surprised if you can take that initiative, like I said, to reach out to people. You might even be bumping into someone down at the coffee shop and just ask them, like, hey, where are you meeting new people? How are you starting new conversations?
Yeah.
It can be as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, also, too, quick shout out, like I host a hybrid community.
Yes.
So I've also got an online networking Zoom. I host this every single week in Sydney time. It's on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And this is a way that I find can actually help you take that first step without having to get in the car, without having to think about what to wear, without having to think about, where you've got to go to. A lot of in-person physical networking can be quite daunting. And I totally appreciate and understand that. So wherever you are, like even look into some online networking events.
Yeah.
It's welcome to come along to mine. It's totally free.
Yeah.
But you got to find your people. Who do you connect with?
Yeah.
The first step might even just be jumping online and going to an online networking event.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think too, from my experience when I've been networking as well, is that I've always networked for the connection. But I've had people that I've networked with that have been frustrated that they've gone to one or two networking. They're like, I haven't got any business out of this.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it's what's your intention as well, like what's the reason behind it, because then you can choose different networking groups for whatever your intention is. So if it is to make real life connections and just to have new people in your life and in your community, then, that might be a different networking to if you really are wanting to get business immediately from a networking. And so I think that that's quite an important distinction as well, because I joined networking just for the community. The business that I got out of it was a bonus for me.
Yes.
But it was never my intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great point too.
Yeah.
You can join business networks and a lot of people are there to try and develop their business, whether it's directly or indirectly. There might be people in the room who you can work with as a client.
Yeah.
There might be people there who might be able to send you clients.
Yeah.
That's sort of the context behind business networking.
Yes. Yeah.
What are your hobbies? Like, think about what are you actually interested in?
Yeah.
I can't shut up about tennis.
Yeah.
I can't tell you about how many friends I've made through tennis.
Yeah. Yep.
Many business contacts I've got just as many tennis contacts. And if I want to go out and have a hit, like there's probably 12 people I could call right now who would be down there in 10 minutes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're into tennis, go do that. Golf. Yeah. If there's some other sport, if there's a trivia night happening, if there's karaoke, if there's a puzzle night, like and check it. There might be different walking groups. There could be biking groups. There could be meditation groups, breathwork groups. There could be all sorts of different communities that are around you.
Yeah.
And you'll often find that the organisers of these communities and the members of these communities too are super welcoming, and they actually want new people coming in all the time. So if you attend one of these events, you're most likely going to be very well supported, and they're going to be really happy that you've actually shown up to be a part.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm a bit shocked because I just looked at the time. I've actually got a couple of minutes left. I knew it would go quickly. We never have trouble having a chat. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I love to ask all of my guests before we finish our conversation. So what is one lesson or truth that you've learned on your journey that you wish you had known earlier?
Powerful question. I would say that you don't have to have what you want to have to be able to be who you want to be.
Wow. Okay, so it's the internal. It's who you like. It's what's inside. It's not necessarily the external, tangible stuff.
Yeah,
it's what's on the inside.
Yeah, for sure. And I heard that from Jim Fortin. If you're familiar with the Jim Fortin podcast,
no,
it's in one of his first episodes. He's got hundreds.
Right.
The first 10 episodes of that podcast, magic.
Right.
And he breaks down the thinking model that most people operate from, which is that you need to have things in order to do the thing, to be the person you want to be, have, do, be. But if you can reverse that into be, do, have, and be the person that you want to be, that'll be the thing that helps you do the things you need to do in order to have the things you want to have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the common example people use all the time is like, I want to be fit and I want to have a six-pack, but I don't have the time. So I can't go to the gym and do the weights that I need to do. And so I'll never be a fit person with a ripped body.
Yeah.
But internally, if you can embody what it is to be a fit person and an athletic person, you're going to go and do the things that you have to do in order to have the things that you want to have. So it's often time, money, health, whatever these limitations are that we put around ourselves which prevent us to go and do the things that we need to do.
Yeah.
Just try and think about that in reverse. And that's something that I wish I knew, because it would have encouraged me to reach out for help a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And I would have been able to be the person who I wanted to be a lot sooner. I'm very proud and happy to be able to say that I am who I want to be today. Yeah. And it could have only been done a little bit quicker. Yeah. I realised that earlier. So
yeah. That's beautiful. What a way to finish. And Mitch, I've said this so many times before, but I really love featuring someone on my show that I've known for a while, because I always still learn so many things. Like, I didn't know about that early, like, school and all of that sort of stuff. So thank you for sharing everything today. I'm really grateful.
Thank you, Megan. I really do appreciate it.
You're so welcome. And I'd also like to thank all of my amazing and dedicated audience, my supporters, and again, my sponsors. And I hope that everybody has an amazing week. And I'll see you all again next week. And again, thanks, Mitch.
Thanks so much, Megan.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of The True North Show. I hope today's conversation brought you closer to your own sense of purpose and reminded you of the power you hold within. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who's also walking the path of becoming. To continue the journey, head over to megannorth.com. You'll find resources, support, and ways to work with me one-on-one. Until next time, keep trusting yourself, following your intuition, and taking one aligned step at a time. Your true north is never lost. It's just waiting for you to come home.